Good morning, Division 2. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and had a chance to enjoy that sunshine out there. I know for us it was Bennett's birthday on Saturday and he turned 2, which was really exciting. He had cake and balloons and we went for a lot of scooter rides, so that was a lot of fun. As we go into this new week, I just want to reiterate the message from last week that mental health absolutely comes first. We are just making sure that everybody is okay moving through this process, and we started slow last week for a reason. This week we're going to layer on a little bit more, but I'm going to try to make sure that I'm communicating with you as much as I can, but that also has to come from you as well, because communication is integral to all of this working for your family. So as we move through things, if you're struggling, please reach out. I am here. My office hours are 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every single day, and I should be at my computer ready to go to respond to you right away. And I'm happy to make accommodations for anything that you need as you need it. So we'll chat about what that could look like for you. But I am checking in with students weekly, so make sure your students are checking their chat messages from me and replying. And you guys need to also reach out to me if you're struggling or something has changed for your family. That's all good information for me to know. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about some changes that we're going to make to the way that some of the assignments and the list that comes out every day, how that's formatted. I'll go over the weekly calendar, and then I'll go over some specifics about different assignments for students, including their work inside of Spirit Buddies. I'll do a little bit of a tutorial on one of the new apps we're using this week, and then I'll be going over the checklist of work, so where students can find their updated progress and be able to tell if they've missed anything or if something wasn't completed correctly. So first, we're going to go to the new method of how we're going to be using the Daily List of Awesomeness. Based on some feedback that I received from students, I will be switching the format for the Daily List of Awesomeness slightly. The main thing that people wanted to incorporate was the ability to check off items on the list as they completed them, which completely makes sense because when you're working in a digital space and you have everything coming at you in a big list, it's really hard to track what links you've clicked or what tasks you've actually completed. So how this is going to work is we're going to be using a program called Microsoft OneNote. On Friday, I asked the kids to download this app onto their device, and I think many people did. But that's going to be something that you're going to need to do here right before we start to go through how to use Microsoft OneNote. Now, I'm still going to post a web link for parents on our main web page, so our class website that you've been using since the beginning of the year. You're going to still be able to access the link to their OneNote through that. I will update that daily. But students will access the Daily List of Awesomeness through Teams and through OneNote themselves, so they won't really even need to visit our website necessarily. I'll walk you through exactly how to get there in a few moments, but first I want you to go download that app. So whatever device you're using, go to their app store and search for Microsoft OneNote. If you're using a PC or a laptop Mac computer, or even a desktop Mac computer, you can download the app or you can access it on your browser. I will let you know the app gives a significantly better user experience, so I do recommend the app, but there's no reason why from a computer space that you can't use it on the web. So I'll tell everybody, pause the video now and go download the OneNote app, and then I'll take you on a little tour from a couple devices. Once your student has signed into Teams, they need to click on the Teams icon on the left-hand side. This is going to take them to their main Teams list, and then they're going to tap or click on LS Kids 2019-2020. Now, their view is going to be slightly different than mine because they may not see all these channels on the left side, and they may not even see all the tabs at the top. But the one they're going to want to find is right here, and it's called Class Notebook. So click on Class Notebook, and we're going to take a moment to let this page load. What you're going to find is the OneNote interface, but it's embedded inside of Teams. Now, this isn't ideal because it's a little bit harder to work from, and it's a little clunkier inside the Teams app, but we're here because we need access to this specific file that I've embedded into Teams. So you come here to get the file, and then you shouldn't have to come back to find it. If you want to open it inside of the browser, you can if you're not downloading the web app, but if you click this little drop-down menu, it's also going to give you an option to open it in the OneNote app. So we're going to click that, and we're going to have this option to open it inside of OneNote. So we'll just wait for that to open for just a moment. Now, when we get here, things are going to be looking a little bit different for me inside of the notebook than they are for a student. For example, the students will have this welcome space, they'll see a collaboration space and a content library, and they're going to see their own name. They're not going to see my teacher only space, and they're not going to see all of the other different names that are associated with our OneNote space. So I'm going to use one of our student spaces just to get an idea of what a student might see underneath their name. And if you click below onto the Daily List of Awesomeness, they're going to have an option to have a sample. This is just a sample list I sent to a student, but they're going to have an option to check off every single box of whatever they complete. Now I'll tell you more about the List of Awesomeness in just a sec while we get our iPad friends set up. Just a heads up, I'm going to be showing this on an iPad, but the experience should be roughly the same no matter what kind of tablet you're using. So if you're on a device like a tablet or a phone, the steps are going to be very similar, but you're going to have to dig just a little bit more than you would on a computer just because the displays are smaller. Once again, we're opening this in Teams simply because we're looking for the file that I've shared. And once we have the file that I've shared, we can always just open it up in OneNote. So let's figure out how to do this on a tablet. Right now, I'm signed in to Microsoft Teams, and on the bottom menu, you're going to find that there are some icons that look a little bit different from me as a teacher to what a student might see. But the icon that you need is the Teams icon at the bottom, same as what we did on the computer. I'm going to tap on that Teams icon, and it's going to kick me directly into our team, LS Kids 2019-2020. So this is great because it's where I need to be. On the left-hand side, I'm going to click on the General channel, and it's going to pop up the list of different things that have been going on within that channel. Now, on Teams on a computer, we were able to see in the top menu up here that we could click on something called Class Notebook, but it's not listed at the top. To find it, we have to tap on the More button, and then we can find the class notebook from there. As soon as we tap in the class notebook and it begins to open, what's going to happen is it's going to force us to open the Microsoft OneNote app. And now we have the app here for us. Now on your screen at the very top, in fact, a little bit above this welcome, you're probably going to find a button that says sign in. I really encourage you to sign in so you can save this notebook to your OneNote and you don't have to go digging through Teams every time to find it. Once you've gotten into the class notebook, you can tap this back button, and then you're going to find the same list as we did on the computer. My view is going to be a little bit different than yours because I see all the different student names, but I want to show you what a student space might look like. So, just as before, when I collapse the list underneath the student's name, I'll be able to access the Daily List of Awesomeness and some checkboxes that I can check off as I complete each task. Now, of course, this isn't the list for this week, so I'm going to show that in just a moment. So this is the part of the video where I say that doing all your schoolwork from here on out on a phone is going to be tough. Not only is the screen really small, but you're going to need a device like a tablet or a computer to be able to navigate and complete your assignments more easily. A phone can be useful to snap pictures and import them, but it's challenging to do a complete writing assignment from a phone or to navigate from app to app when, even the work we did last week would make that a little bit challenging. It's only going to get harder if you only have a phone. If you don't have another device other than your phone, please contact me and we'll try to arrange to get you one. Okay, let's head back to my computer for a moment and we will check out how to navigate the lists that I'm actually sending for today. So a few families have inquired as to what's required versus what is optional. So just to keep it light and fun, we've been keeping this daily list of awesomeness with the fun stuff at the top, but obviously the fun stuff is for fun, so I've clearly annotated here now that these are optional so that you know that in advance. So if you want to check this stuff out, it's all high interest stuff that we find on the internet that kids might like. And as you scroll down, you're going to find the different lists of things that you actually have to do today. Now, where do you find this? When you're inside of your class notebook, the key is being on the left-hand pane, you find your name and you collapse that menu. After that menu is collapsed, you should be able to click on your daily list of awesomeness and find the correct page date on the inside. Now, once you find that page date, you should be able to annotate this list yourself and check off items as you do them. I recommend not checking off things until you actually complete them. So what's required? All the stuff in the box below. So every day, the Daily List of Awesomeness is going to be shared on Teams to students, and I will be updating the class website for parents. It's probably a good idea to have those login credentials available for you so that you can sign in and check on their list, or work together to do that work. Inside of the Daily List of Awesomeness, you're also going to find that there's 3 main sections: wellness, connectivity and community, English language arts, and math. In each section, remember, we're working on these for about 40 minutes a day, and I know it looks overwhelming because there's a lot of text, but there's a lot of instructions that students need to make sure they're doing. Some of the tasks are really small, right? Reading my message on Teams, that's a really quick thing that they can do, but it's just a reminder that they need to do it. I want to highlight, though, in the English language arts sections that we're going to be starting to complete all of our assignments, or most of our assignments, through OneNote now instead of through Teams. We've run into a ton of glitches through the Teams interface, from lost student work to students not being able to edit their file after they turn it in, and I've given feedback. So we're going to try this out just to see if it works a little bit more smoothly for us. In this space, you're going to be able to find your assignments with the instructions within the piece on the checklist. So in this particular case, we're going to be able to click on find the student name on the left-hand side, click the student name to collapse the menu, and then you're going to be able to find English work and math work. Now, in this case, I want you to check specifically this ELA writing task. This is a writing task I've assigned from today. It's based on work last week, and it's due on Wednesday this week. If you head into the student name and into their ELA work, you're going to be able to find pages that correspond with that assignment because I've pushed those pages to the student notebook. In this case, the student would complete all of their written work right inside of OneNote by typing the writing piece in this box, following their criteria above. Now the same goes for math work. I'm just going to head back to that list, scroll down to the math space, and this is where the rich math task is going to be found as well. You'll just go to your OneNote, find your name, and then you're going to go and complete your math work, finding the right page for the dates we've listed. So this is another rich math task that we are assigning for the week, and these tasks are designed to spend quite a bit of time on. They shouldn't be something that it's a 15-minute one and done. It should be something that you take a little bit of time to complete. The last space inside of OneNote that I want to highlight is the content library. Every single time that I create a task, I'm going to be pushing it into the content library just in case you make a mistake and delete something from your own copy of the assignment. Another thing that you're going to find here is the weekly checklist, and this is going to be looking quite similar to something that I use in the classroom to track student assignment completion and to let students know if there's something is done or maybe that they didn't do it correctly. So students will be able to check the page with the corresponding dates. Now I want you to know this is not going to be updated in real time. I will be updating this space on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then as well on Sunday prior to the new week starting. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I don't know yet if that's going to be feasible for my mental health, so I'll let you know and communicate that if that changes, but this is what I'm going to give a shot at this week. Just so you know, on the list below, anything, there's a color-coded little piece here that you can kind of tell what is going on in each space, and you can go across and see each assignment. So this is Spirit Buddies, a daily task, and so on, all these different assignments through the week, and then you can see what your student has completed. Now what you're going to notice is that this is all by student ID, and these are scrambled. They're not in alphabetical order like last name, like a list we would have found in the classroom. Your name students are probably going to be somewhere different on the list than what was previously, so you're going to have to know your student ID. If you don't know your student ID, please send me a Teams chat and I'll send it over so that you know it. And I would encourage you to write it down so every time you check the list, you understand who you are. Now, just as in class, I'm not going to be chasing you down for assignments. It is your responsibility to check this list, and it is your responsibility to make sure you're keeping up with your work. Of course, I'm going to be following up and letting you know that I'm noticing trends. Maybe you're not completing certain assignments. Maybe you don't know that they're there, and that's the type of work that I'm going to be doing. But I'm not going to be nagging you about you're missing this, you're missing this. That's going to be work you're going to need to do, and that's going to be something you're going to need as you prepare to go to high school next year. Next, I want to talk about the weekly calendar. First, when you open this document, I want you to know that you need to click on the correct tab on the bottom of the screen, no matter what kind of screen you're working on. So make sure the dates correspond with what you're looking at. The other thing I want to mention, if it says draft, it means that I'm still drafting it and that's not a final schedule. So keep that in mind as you look at those tabs. Next, I want to discuss the calendar versus the daily list of awesomeness. This calendar is not intended as a space that we're going to be working from on a day-to-day basis. As time goes on, we're hoping to have some of this planning done ahead of time, but right now, because we're just trying to get things off the ground, we've been scrambling a bit and just getting our plans done day by day. So as we get into more of a routine, so should this calendar fill out a little bit more clearly. Our goal is to eventually fill out this bottom space here with some workshop activities or clubs that students can join, or some fun tasks. I've also added at the very bottom an assignments due row, just so you can very quickly glance and see what's due through the week. As was true in our class, most of our assignments we start on Monday and they get layered in, and eventually everything is due Friday. So keep that in mind as you start to move through things, that this assignments due tab is something you can take a peek at if you need it. Last, I want to talk about the essential question and learning target. So these are the things that are our goals as teachers for the students. So these are the types of things we're focusing on. These are the questions we're trying to ask or achieve the answers to in their learning. And this is really the space where you can just go, what are we working on? And go, oh, okay, this is what we're working on here. So keep in mind, once again, this calendar is a quick snapshot in the week. What really matters is the daily list of awesomeness, which is what students should be looking at and working from each day. All right, last but not least, I want to talk about Spirit Buddies. So thank you to those who are meeting with their Spirit Buddies every day at 10 a.m. I want to let you know that Spirit Buddies is one of the requirements for the wellness and connectivity strand that our district has set forth for us. Please keep in mind that this is the way that we take attendance, and it's really the only truly synchronous activity, meaning we're all online at the same time. So again, if your child can't make this time, please let us know, because we will make other arrangements for the students in their group, because those students also lose out on the community engagement if your child doesn't check in. I'll be reaching out to check in with students who haven't been attending to Spirit Buddies on Tuesday, just to give them a chance to check in today to see that they're getting this message. To students, as time moves forward, keep in mind that we're also looking for you to engage in Spirit Buddies in a meaningful way. Simply saying, hello, how's it going, and goodbye in the chats isn't enough. This chat is based on supporting other kids in the classroom, so the question you always need to ask yourself before you enter the chat space is, how might I support my buddies, and how might my buddies support me? So that's it for this one. Quite a long one this week, I apologize, but when we are switching gears to use a new app, of course, that takes up a lot of time. And this is a quick snapshot of this app. There's a ton we can do with it, and I'm hoping to layer on to OneNote as time goes on. Either way, if you have any questions, please reach out, and I will be happy to answer them. I hope you have a great week. See you online.